Well, we've talked a lot about this here on this show, whether it's happening in school or in the office, even up to the NFL. Bullying.
Anti-bullying.
Bullying.
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 Bullying. This topic seems to be everywhere. Yet, I feel there is a giant hole missing in the discussion. Bullying those with disabilities. For years, I watched my brother Callan be bullied almost daily. He was picked on for being different, when it seems his only difference was his cerebral palsy. I wanted to know why. Why was my brother being picked on? And why was it not being talked about?
Jack.
When I was in high school, I did have people that picked on me because of my disability. They keep on saying I was just because I had a bad arm and I can't get everything done because I have Charlie horse marathons or spasm or Charlie horses that, like, for example, like if I had a Charlie horse, then 5 seconds it comes back, 5 seconds it comes back. Like if I have a Charlie horse, I can't get everything done. I have to ask the teacher, can I work on it next time? And then about bullying, I had it a lot in high school. Like boys that I know that like to bully me, they keep on saying, he's a teacher's pet. Like I keep on turning around, I am not a teacher's pet. I'm just a boy that has problems, okay? And I had people that stealed half of my lunch. I had boys that laugh at me for no reason. I have boys that do a lot of crazy stuff about me. I just don't know. Even none of the people who bother me don't even stand up for me. I keep on getting tired of people that don't do that. Like, I have girls that, there's girls that in my class, they just don't respect me nicely, and they just don't bother me. They just don't want to help me out when those boys bother me.
Being the older sister, it was hard to see the pain my brother was going through. I thought no one else understood how I felt. That is until I met my friend, Abby.
Okay, get on right now, bye. My brother Carter is 18 years old. He just turned 18 in February. He was diagnosed with autism, I want to say when he was in middle school. When he was younger, we just thought it was ADHD. At least that's what our doctors thought as well. He was just extremely hyper. He loved running everywhere. He ran everywhere. And that's actually proven to be beneficial in his high school career because now he runs cross country. Our relationship is really good now. We, in all honesty, we didn't get along when we were younger. I didn't fully understand the extent of his autism, and a lot of kids at his high school and his middle school, they didn't either until he started getting older and he got more involved with activities. And when he was younger, he struggled just a lot socially. He's had to take different classes in school. He's had to take speech classes. His speech is a little different. He has a hard time with his R's.
Oh, you're making a recording.
He also didn't really know when people were either making fun of him or messing with him. So that would, he would take it as a joke, but it didn't come off as a joke. Some of our neighbor kids, when we were younger, would take advantage of him. You know, they'd come over and play his video games, and they wouldn't let him play it, or they'd call him stupid for. At the time there was no real reason. And since he looks completely normal, he looks like a completely normal kid. It's not like Down syndrome where it's blatantly obvious that something's wrong or something's off. A lot of people just think he's that weird kid.
When I learned of Shelly and her son Jake, it reminded me of the struggles me and my family went through when my brother was younger and just starting to get bullied.
Jake's had some experience with bullying in school, mostly more the feeling of being left out and teased more than being actually physically bullied. A lot of it, I think, comes from having a disability that's not clearly identified. Working with diagnosticians, it's been mentioned several times that he seems like he is possibly within the autism spectrum. He seems like every other child.
My name's Jake Sanderson. Yeah, that there's like some stuff that's bothering me, like bullyingness, and I just don't really like it. It gets me really mad.
He has a very slight version of a flap when he gets excited, and so little behaviors like that are little ways of processing that is different than the way other children may process feelings or emotions or understanding of things. Tend to be the differences that other children start seeing after a time.
There's another, like there's this mean kid named Chase and all that, and he's always mean. And his friend Savion, he's mean also. It just makes me mad. It's like I need to do something, like punch them or something.
When I was old enough to drive, I was given the responsibility of picking up my brother every day from school. What first seemed like a great opportunity turned into a hated chore. Not because I did not love my brother, but because I drove every day to go pick him up, knowing that when he got in my car, he would tell me another story of how he got bullied that day.
So this one time of my bullied life, there was in 8th grade, there was two boys came, and some of them kept on bothering me and all that, and then one said, "Hey, can I have your drink?" And I said no, and then when I looked back, I saw my drink on, and then he actually poured it on my pants and I said, "Really, dude? Come on!" And those boys got in trouble anyway, and because I told on them.
This year with one kid that posted some things about Carter on Instagram that were just not okay for him to post. It made Carter look like a fool. It made Carter look like an idiot. And, Carter doesn't, make the connection between what certain hashtags and certain words mean. When you have to go and explain it to Carter and explain that it's not a good comment that is coming out of his mouth, and explain that your friends wouldn't say that about you, it makes him upset because he feels like he's losing a friend, but in his mind, that's just someone to socialize with that is on his level.
Why are children with disabilities being bullied, and why is it not being talked about? Instead of pondering this issue on our own, we decided to contact Jessie, president of Best Buddies, a big sister, big brother organization specifically targeted towards those with disabilities, and Devin, an employee at the University of North Texas Disabilities Offices, to see what they thought on this topic.
The shark.
See the shark. You shark.
Okay. Now what do you guys want to do?
There's a shark attack.
Best Buddies is an organization that partners students with people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And I got involved about 6 years ago. I've had my same buddies since then. The organization, the mission statement for it, is to no longer have Best Buddies. So I have two, I call them my boys or my brothers. They actually started out as my buddies and Best Buddies. They're 24 and 25 years old. They are the greatest. They have the biggest personalities, polar opposite from each other, but just the all-time sweetest boys in the entire world. Yeah, no, I do think that bullying in schools for people with disabilities is completely overlooked, because I think that they're separated by their school, or they're separated by classes and stuff like that, that I don't think people realize how big the problem is. Students who have less noticeable or more high functioning, they're bullied a lot more than students with really obvious disabilities. I think people have their moral compass, it straightens out a little bit when they see somebody with Down syndrome, or they see somebody in a wheelchair, and they know that, it's wrong to make fun of somebody with a disability, because I think that's taught. But when there's somebody who is high functioning and has, autism or something of that sort, it's easy to make fun of them, because they're high functioning enough to understand and comprehend things. So like, why aren't they just like us? I think that, you know, the way that they've set up our special education programs and things like that, like, you know, the students that are in special education are shoved into one room and a lot of times will not leave that room that entire day. So, you know, I think that it's schools' responsibilities and students' responsibilities to integrate those things, whether it's having integrated classes or, you know, encouraging, you know, students in the special education programs or students with disabilities to be just as involved in their schools as their peers.
You know, I think in college people are generally, you know, people are generally more mature and more understanding. The thing, it's not exactly bullying, but it's attitudes, I guess. With invisible disabilities, people will assume that, hey, you don't look like you have a disability. Like with me, it's kind of like, hey, I'm here, you know, everyone can see my wheelchair. But with somebody that has an invisible disability, you know, and it's sometimes people might be wondering, why are they behaving like that, or why is this going on? You know, that might be tougher because then there's some stigma there, you know. They might not want to disclose. An overwhelming majority of disabilities are invisible. Well, you know, students with disabilities are 2 to 3 times more likely to get bullied, studies have shown. I think sometimes people with disabilities are just forgotten in general, just because people think, well, they don't have a voice, or people just think that's how it is, I guess. But I think it is improving. I talk a lot about person-first language in my presentation. I'm a person with a disability. I'm not a disabled person, you know, and people say, well, okay, that's just another PC thing. But, you know, I'd rather be a person with a disability rather than a disabled person.
After hearing everyone's stories and ideas, I noticed a common thread. It wasn't the bully's moral compass, disrespect, or environment. It was a lack of understanding.
Just people who are bullying people, just stop it.
You know, everyone should be treated equally, and you wouldn't treat your best friend like that. Why would you treat a random person like that?
Don't listen to them. And if they keep on doing it, just walk away. Cover your ears if you have to.
For me, it led me to realize that you have to look at people for their abilities and not their disabilities.